And apparently we're not going to have access to the recordings either, so. All right, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Apparently no email went out, it only went out by text. So I'm going to go ahead and get started so that we don't waste a whole lot of time because I have a lot I want to go over with you today. Okay. So welcome back again to the song that never ends, right? But we're going to go and do a couple of different things today. We're going to do a little bit of backtracking on some of the stuff that we've already gone over. So just to kind of keep everything in order, because I'm trying to put this out to you so that you have the information in a logical format that's continuous. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about how to convert the leads that you do generate or the engagement that you get, not just the leads, convert them into leads. So how do I convert my content that I'm putting out and the people that follow it and comment on it and engage with it, how do I convert them into leads? That's what I'm going to talk to you about today. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information about how to automate some of this. And if you need any help with any of that, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you out with that as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about the magnetic message formula, and that's how to write posts that capture attention. We've talked about this before, but I want to make sure that we go over this again because your message is the most important part of the training itself, right? And then we're going to talk about monetizing that visibility. That means how to turn them into appointments. We're going to use different methods to do that. This is an interactive session, so there's going to be some practice stuff, and I'm going to ask for your response on a few things so that I can understand where you're at and get a better idea of how to help you. And we're going to talk about direct messaging, follow-up systems that can work while you're not available, right? And then we'll talk about how to build momentum, right? And momentum is the key to making online content and social media work, right? It's having a posting rhythm that compounds your visibility, builds your authority, and will increase your income over time. And then we'll talk about a 90-day action plan. We'll talk about how to create a personalized, repeatable system. We're going to use AI to help us with that, and then we're going to keep that help keep you visible, consistent, and booked without burnout, right? And by the end of this, you'll know how to write your messages that attract attention, connect emotionally, and move people to take action. Turn visibility into value by guiding followers from curiosity to conversation. And we're going to automate your consistency with AI tools. I'll show you some templates, some posting systems that'll save you time and will multiply your reach. And then build unstoppable momentum. So through the 90-day plan, if you keep your pipeline full, and your brand will grow, and you will get booked business out of your postings and information. So this has been proven again and again with agents that I've worked with in the company. And other agents that I've worked with and helped build their presence, right? Because visibility is everything, right? The more people, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. So experience has nothing to do with real estate, okay? If you want to get real estate leads, if you want to build your business, it's all about being visible. The more visible an agent is, the more business they will get. Right? It's not about how experienced you are. There are a lot of very experienced agents out there that do very little business because they're not visible in the market area. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go into the first part here, right? So we're going to start with the visibility. We're going to start with the magnetic message. And what we're going to do is talk about a little bit about hook, pain, proof, and invitation, or you've heard me say hook, story, offer, or hook, story, call to action. So I'm going to revisit this a little bit so you get a better understanding, right? So the hook stops the scroll. That means that people that are going through your Facebook or going through Instagram or going through TikTok, whichever your platform is, And then the pain is the problem that your clients feel. Now, I don't mean anguish and frustration. Well, it could be frustration. But there's a lot of different types of pain, right? There's the pain point could be, hey, I'm really looking for a house where I can keep my 50-foot sport fisherman and not have to, take an hour just to turn it around, right? Or I want to find a place where I can get out to the reef in 15 minutes, or I want to find a home in the Keys where it's more secluded, right? This is my forever home where I'm gonna, this is my last purchase, right? And I want it to be that perfect spot. And or it could be, I need to leave because I have medical issues. I need to be closer to the doctor, or I want to be closer to my grandkids, right? These are things that we hear all the time. Or they could just say, hey, the Keys are not for me and I just need to get out of here, right? Or it's too expensive. These are pain points that we want to address in order to talk to sellers. So proof is your story or example. It's for example, let's say you called on an expired listing and it was listed with another agent and it was with that other agent for a year. You got the listing and you sold it in 30 days. That's a great story. But how do we connect it so that it generates more listings for you, right? We're going to talk about that. And then the invitation is simple, just telling them what to do next, right? Taking action. It's the call to action. And we're going to talk about that as well. So, but this is the formula. So keep this in mind. It is the hook, pain, proof, and invitation, or you could say call to action. So this is research that has been done multiple times, and the interesting thing that they find is that over time, people's attention span have been shrinking. So believe it or not, humans have a shorter attention span than goldfish, right? The average goldfish attention span is about 2.3 seconds, and the average human attention span right now is about 1.7 seconds. So we have a shorter attention span than goldfish. But the hook is that pattern breaker, right? If you look at, oops, I lost my, I'm sorry. I lost my spot here. All right, if we look at how we're going to do, there we go, my notes, okay. So if we look at how we're going to put together, we need to have something that has a surprise or a challenge or generates a curiosity that I need to know more about that, intrigue. If you do that and you capture that in the beginning, you'll get another second of attention. So the more that you keep them engaged, the more you're going to be able to get that person to follow you and start to know you, like you, and maybe engage with you. And that's the key. So some example hooks would be, stop believing this lie about home values in the Keys. This is actually one that I would like to, I've been looking at for the last few weeks, right? We're not the Miami market, right? We're not what's going on in Miami. We're not what's going on in Tampa or Fort Myers or West Palm Beach or Orlando, right? We have a completely different situation here. We are in a want market. We are not in a need market. So that changes the value of homes. There are homes that have sold for more than you might have thought they would. And because this is a want market. People will pay more for things that they want than what they need. When they need something, they want to pay as little as possible. When they want something, they'll make exceptions. Most sellers are chasing the wrong buyers. Here's why. And the reason for that being, maybe there's you're going too broad, or you're not. Your marketing is in the wrong area, or they're doing. I'll give you an example. A recent one I was talking about yesterday, where for sale by owner stuck a sign in the yard and thought that's all they needed to get their home sold, and for 2 years they haven't been able to sell their house, right? So, and then this one sentence added $25K to my seller's bottom line. something along the lines of some improvements you may have suggested to increase the curb appeal to a house, or something that held up the value and enable your seller to get a higher net at the end, right? So this is also supported by science. This is the Nielsen Norman Group did eye tracking studies. So believe it or not, it's true that when you are on social media, then they'll ask you, but when you are on social media, you're being tracked. All of your actions, everything you do on social media, or on actually anything that you do on your phone, is being tracked and studied, right? So they found that users spend an average of 1.7 seconds on a post before deciding to scroll. So what you want to do is start with surprise, curiosity, or conflict, and the 3 fastest ways to disrupt that scroll. Those are the 3. So I want to show you an example of that. This is Will Friedner. So he's in Montana, and he mostly sells land, right? So he lists and sells land, but he does great in Montana. He's 90,000 subscribers almost that he's at right now on YouTube. But I want you to look at, and I'm not going to play the videos, I just want you to look at the videos. And if we look at his videos, first thing I want you to look at is what's the most popular, right? So if you look at some of the most popular ones that he's done, you could see things they don't tell you, living in Montana, things they don't tell you. Montana's strangest town, Montana's most beautiful town, Montana versus Idaho. These are the ones that are getting the biggest amount of views over and over and over again. But you'll notice that these are really dealing with the lifestyle of Montana. What does it take to be in there? Now, this particular page is geared toward buyers, not sellers, but I want you to notice the difference in the titles that he's using for his video. This is a fairly recent one, this Montana Legal Nightmare. This one's been catching, he's done several postings about this, and he's catched several thousand views on these. If we look at some of his latest, and actually, you know what? I'm going to take this because I want to show you some stats. Let me throw this over here so I can get those stats. Because I want my, so I want my software to catch the stats. So if you see here this no trespassing thing, this one court case could unlock 900,000 Montana acres. You can see that this number right here tells me that it's done 4.8 times better than other videos he's posted. He's getting 92 views per hour. Montana Supreme Court shuts down Airbnb. Again, 4.2 times better than his average video. He's getting 9 views per hour. So you see the controversial or shocking titles are the ones that are getting the most views or the most increases. And here's one, Montana's boom is over, 13 times better than his typical video or average video. So those ones are getting that, or grabbing that attention. And so keep that in mind. That's what a hook is, right? It's grabbing that person's attention because it's something that they were not expecting to see or hear. So if we look at, I'm going to just click on here for a second because I want to.
Welcome back to.
We're not going to show that, but I want you to look at his information. So you can see that he's had 143 comments on this one particular video, and he'll go back and reply to the people that are making the comments in accordance with what he's looking for, who's his ideal client. And he'll engage with those people. But that's a lot of eyes on him and putting him as an authority in the area, right? Saying that, hey, I know what the heck I'm talking about. And this guy does not do fancy videos, by the way, okay? He is very plain, down to earth, very representative of his market area. So we want, that's another thing, is to be representative of your market area. A lot of people here in the Keys are not going to expect you to be wearing a suit and tie or a dinner dress, selling real estate in the Keys. That it just doesn't work. As a matter of fact, when I came down here to speak to Brian for the first time, I forgot to bring my suit to meet with him for the interview. And when I told him that, I said, I apologize because I forgot my suit. He said, no, it's better because if you were wearing a suit, people would think you're the FBI coming in for something. So, because suits don't play well here, right? Not at least not in the daytime. So look at that as well. All right. So going back to the next step. So the pain is the frustration or that your audience feels. People don't buy solutions they don't think they need. Meaning, if you have a buyer who's looking for a specific type of home, and they don't, there's certain things that are must-haves on their list. Most of the time, if you show them a house and they walk in and there's like, I would never live in this house, right? There's not much that you can say or do to get them to buy it, right? There's not much that you can get them to overcome any kind of negative feeling that they may have in order to buy it. So what we want to do is we want to address their actual frustrations and so that they feel understood. You want to shift from someone selling to someone who gets it. Again, this is for social media. What we're looking at is somebody who looks at you on a video or at a post or on Instagram and says, oh, you know what? They're thinking just like I am. They understand exactly what I'm feeling. They get what I'm trying to accomplish here, right? So some examples of how to address that would be, you followed up 3 times and still no response. Maybe they had an agent that they're not getting communication with, or they worked with an agent in the past that was a frustration for them, that the agent didn't communicate with them. And you can address those issues about why that makes you gives you a differentiation in the market. You just lost an offer because someone waived inspection, right? Well, that can happen, right? Because the offer came in and somebody waived inspection and you were trying to buy a house and the other offer didn't, had waived inspection, so they made it easier for the seller to say yes. You're confused or overwhelmed by too much advice. In the age of technology, we have a computer in our hands that is more powerful than the rockets that went to the moon, right? And so we have an overwhelm of information, and we don't know what's right and what isn't, what's correct and what's wrong. So a lot of people do feel overwhelmed. So maybe we can address that and say, here's where you need to understand when you're trying to sell your home. These are the things that you don't really need to focus on. Here's what you really need to focus on. So HubSpot, which is a social media platform management system, did research in 2023 and shows that empathy-based content outperforms product-based content by 58% in engagement, right? So what that means is that people are looking for connection. We have had a long period of time where people have been disconnected from their social structure, right? Kids that were out of school for a long time. COVID changed a lot of our personal reactions. So when we go online, we're tired of hearing the old, Tide cleans best, or the, what was the one with the one with the neck ring or whatever, Gain, right? With the neck ring. We're tired of hearing those kind of things. What we're looking for is someone that empathizes or can sympathize with where we are in life. And whether you like him or you hate him, Trump is a good example of that. He speaks to the lowest common denominator, and this is what boosts it boosts his liking, the people that like him. It boosts his connection with people, with the average guy, right? The average person out there trying to work for a living. Those kind of things that he addresses connect with those people, and they're the ones most likely to vote. So talk about their problem before you present yourself as the answer, right? Pain creates connection, empathy builds trust. So meaning Don't say, hey, I'm number one. Don't start with that. You bring that in because that's the answer, right? Because, hey, I understand that you tried to sell your house and went on the market and you had it on the market for a year, you couldn't get anything, and I can appreciate that. And you still want to get to go see your grandchildren, is that right? I understand that, right? And I want to help you get there. So I have this strategy put together in order to help make that happen. So let's go over that and we can get you out to your grandchildren because that's what you really want, isn't it? Yes, fantastic. So, and then I show them how I can help them before we start, saying, hey, I'm the greatest agent there ever was. So next thing is the proof. So anything that posts credibility to your efforts is going to give you a boost, right? So these are otherwise known as testimonials. And if you're not reaching out to your past clients for testimonials and getting feedback from them, that's a real mistake. It's something very simple that you can do that really will boost your authority on social media. And some examples of that would be one simple video update brought in 3 new buyers for this canal front listing. This seller almost pulled their home off the market, and now they're under contract. And we've had that happen a lot of times. We've had properties that sell right when they are expiring at the at the end of the expiration of the listing. After 4 months with another agent, this home sold in 7 days after my relaunch or our relaunch. Things like that help show how you served the client, but also show your expertise in what you're doing. Visual storytelling will help increase recall. So when we tell stories carry down through centuries. When we tell stories, people will remember it. The story may change over time, right? It might adjust, but people will remember it. And people believe what they can see. So if you have actual proof, if you can do videos with your clients and get them to give you a testimonial on video, that's going to be a lot more proof, and I would put those videos on my website. Right? Here's what other agents are. Here's what home sellers are saying about what I've done to help them get their home sold, and this works out really, really well. There was an agent I was working with in Hope Sound, and I've talked to you about her before. We did a lot of testimonial videos, her and I. So I did a lot of testimonial videos, helped her out with that, and that helped build her base. Those testimonials helped cement her to the community, and it's not her saying how great she was; it's somebody else saying it. And if somebody else is saying it, that's going to have a lot more credibility than if you try and say it yourself. So you can use anything from screenshots, quick stats, mini case stories to help make your claims tangible. So for example, if you have stats in the MLS that show how fast you've sold homes, which is something I used to use it, right? Use that information and put it out there and say, yeah, here, look, this house was on the market for 180 days or 180 months, and I sold it in 10 days. Or, I was able to sell it in 10 days. And then show them how you did that, right? That's another thing. You got to show how you did that. So you're not bragging, you're just showing results, right? We often do that in our company marketing, right? We just did 27,000 plus transactions, right? That's not bragging. It's the result of what we've done over time since what was it, 1982? So, or 1985, 27,000 transactions, and it's a talking point because that is more than the next 4 companies combined. So I'm not bragging about how great we are. We're showing the results of how great we are because we've been able to complete something that no one else has been able to do. No one else has been able to do $1 billion in the Florida Keys. No one else has been able to be in the top 500 agencies in the country in the Florida Keys. No one else has the resources that we have. These are not bragging. These are showing this is the result of working with us. So, and why people keep coming back. That's an important part of that 27,000. That 27,000 transactions shows that people come back to us again and again to work with us. So, and then the last part here on this is, the invitation. It's the call to action. So you have to tell people what to do next. If you just say, hey, if you're interested in real estate, call Mike Jones at 305-123. That's not going to work. Okay. You need to be specific in telling people what to do next, so that in a tone that makes it feel like help, not a pitch, right? So if you are curious what your home might sell for right now in today's market, given what's going on in the market, DM me value, and I'll send you my information. Want the 5-step checklist that I give my sellers to help get their homes prepared in the shortest period of time for the lowest amount of money? Just comment checklist. If you're waiting for rates to drop, let's talk about your best timing. These are specific things that you can tell people, and you can email me, but only email me, text me, phone me, DM me, but only tell them to do one thing, right? Don't tell them to do this, and this. Don't tell them, hey, like, subscribe, check notifications, DM me, send me an email. Don't do that, right? People won't do anything then. What you want to do is tell them to do one thing. So if it's DM me, DM me. If it's text me, text me. If it's download my seller guide, download my seller guide at this link, okay? Don't ask people to do multiple things. One thing. So if you have a direct, specific call to action, you will see a 202% higher click-through rate and response rates. That's been validated. People who do ask too many things for people to do, will get a completely different result. By giving people a specific, clear, simple path, you will have a better reaction to the posts that you're putting up, and make it conversational and easy to act on, okay? Don't ever be desperate. Always be confident, okay? Instead of just saying contact me, say comment, DM me, save this, download the information here. One thing. It's a real important part of your posting. Okay, so here's a typical noise post, right? We know that if we don't have a hook on there that captures attention, we know that we're not going to get a whole lot of action. And unless you have a property that is like, oh my God, that property is like half price, but if you put out just listed 4-bedroom home in Marathon, call for details, chances are you're not going to get a whole lot of responses on that, right? So if we apply the formula by saying, hey, everyone's waiting for rates to drop, but this seller didn't, right? And now I can say, here's this 4-bedroom home in Marathon that is on the water. He's not waiting for rates to drop because we're uncertain about what's going to happen going forward. So we're realizing that buyers are out buying now. We want to get those, and we want to get this property sold. Or you can say that they were tired of the uncertainty and wanted freedom, not frustration. I needed to get out from under this house, or they needed to get this house sold so they could be in XYZ by such and such date. We listed this house, we marketed it strategically, and we got a full price offer in 7 days. That's a tangible result. That's your proof part. So what's your biggest question about timing your sale? People do have questions, right? People, when they're selling a house, not everybody knows exactly what they're doing, right? Not everybody knows exactly. Generally, it takes a person a year, or 18 months actually is the number, from the time that they decide that they want to sell till the time that they actually make the decision to sell. About 18 months is the turnaround time. So if you're calling people, or you're doing stuff, and you're not asking questions about their situation or what their future plans are, you may be missing out. It's the agent that follows through with consistency on a regular basis that wins the day. So whoever the agent is that stayed in touch with them for those 18 months, whether it's through phone calls or texts or emails or social media, that's the agent that's going to win. So, and that's part of visibility. So then share and compare, right? Let's do this real quick. So again, take this one. I want you to just write a hook that you think may be, something good for this just listed 4-bedroom home in Marathon. What would you say differently? And you go ahead and just throw it in the chat. How could you reword that without using what I put here? Okay. How could you reword that? Give me some thoughts or ideas on what some other things that might be, institute some curiosity or surprise. Does anybody have any ideas? Come on, guys. Give me something.
What about addressing maybe
I
bigger?
just did. I
Oh,
just
did
wrote
you?
it.
Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Don't come see this house. I love that, Josh. That's perfect. Okay. First time on the market. Okay, good. Something that's never been, that talks to exclusivity, right? Something that's never been available before. Exclusivity and rarity is a great intro to something. So, but don't come see this house. I like, that's actually good. I like that, Josh. Anybody else have any other thoughts, ideas? Okay. So these types of comments are the things that are going to win the day for you, right? That's how you're going to get people to click on your posts. Rarity, exclusivity, shock value, things like that are going to help help your situation. So here's what I'd like you to do is to look at a post that you've had for a property you may have listed recently, and look at what can I say or how can I position this, kind of like what Josh and Chrissy just said, is how can I position this? What can I say? What can I post that would stop the scroll and capture somebody's attention about that property? And then what would be the pain or frustration or the pain point that I'd want to address with that house? I know you've been looking for, if you've been looking for a house on the water, and being able to dock a 40-foot, sport fisherman, and be able to get out to the fishing as fast as possible. It's rare that we have properties like this, that come across on the market. And this home is completely redone, ready for you to move in and enjoy your holiday season. So things like that. I want you to look at one property, just one, all right, and then think about how could I make a hook that would create curiosity or engagement. What would be the pain point I could address with that, the emotional connection? What proof could I provide about that property that might get someone to want to click on that or learn more about it? So proof isn't always about what I did. Proof can be a lot of different things. Proof can be, if you didn't think that there was a home, a certain home feature available and that property has it, if it has a 2-car garage, if it has something that's different from others, that's proof. That's tangible result of that property, of that listing. Oftentimes, when if you talk to me about doing an open house, and we talk about doing open houses on Facebook, doing lives, or on Instagram, I've always said, don't show the entire house. Don't walk through the entire house. What you want to do is get on there and then show 1 or 2 features that are the biggest compelling reasons to buy that house. What is the key selling feature of that house, and focus on that. And I'll use Allie as an example. So Allie, first time we did a live open house, right? There was a house that was back behind the airport, and it was on the water, and so it had a really unique, different kind of kitchen. It was really nice. Don't remember. It was a nice kitchen, and they had some great appliances. So we literally went from the kitchen straight out because the kitchen had a great view of the canal as well. So like look straight down the canal while you're doing the dishes or whatever. You could look right out on the water. It was awesome. And so we went from that and went straight out the back and then out onto the dock and looked at the full view of the canal area, which was perfect because it was right on the T. So that's something that would capture attention. And believe it or not, 3 people walked in and said, "Hey, we saw your live on," and they were together. The 3 people were together and said, "We thought we'd come over and check it out." So things like that. That's proof that this is why you want to buy this home. There's no other reason. Just buy it because of this reason. Okay? So do that. If you send it to me, I'll look it over and give you some tips if necessary, or I'll give you a grade on it, of A+. So if you do that, pick one property, let me check it out. I will send you back a CMA of your post. Okay, moving on. So we're going to talk about monetizing visibility. So first thing you got to build attention. Attention will build like, know, and trust over time. And then we want to create conversation. So I'm going to talk about conversation. Conversation is the new connection, right? That's the new conversation is the new conversion, right? Conversion happens when you have conversations with people and talk to them about their needs. That's how you're going to convert them and turn them into a client. And then you go back and you repeat the process. So the value funnel or visibility to value funnel is the content is the first step in your sales process. So we've often spoken about this and we've mentioned it before, and Brian has mentioned the invisible agent. Don't be the invisible agent, right? We have one, so I'm sorry. Need a home for a bigger boat? You could play on that one. That's good, Annalise. The first thing that struck me was Jaws. We're going to need a bigger boat, right? But piggybacking on Josh's hook, thinking emotional connection would link from that. Don't come see this house unless you're ready to fall in love. Excellent. Good one, Naira. I like that too. Going back to every viewer is somewhere on this path. Everybody's that's on your social media is looking at your content is either aware, they've seen you, but they don't know what you do. They are interested. They've engaged, liked, or commented, and then they are trusting. They've consumed your stories, proof, and insights, and have built a trust for you. So before we get to the converting part, I want to ask you, is there certain authors that you like to read? Are there certain actors that you enjoy watching their movies or TV shows? Is there certain people in the industry that you prefer and like to watch and get information from, right? Those of you that do Mike Ferry, right? You've been doing it for a long time, right? Do you trust those sources? Yes, or just say yes or no in the
Sure.
chat.
Yes.
Not an actor on
Yes.
not an actor on television.
Well, some people do, right?
I do, Josh.
You just like them if they're handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when we see someone on a regular basis, and yeah, I agree with Josh, there have been a lot of people that have truly fell from grace, but in the acting world. But there are people that we look at, and when we see them often enough, we have an automatic trust. May never met them, right? Never spoke to them, never had any kind of engagement with them. It could be somebody, on your favorite news channel. It could be your favorite author. We all have that person that we trust in different content, in different types of content. So this is where this is what social media is doing for you, right? Just like doing ads in the paper, just like doing ads in magazines, right? Your consistency will build trust over time. The difference that social media can do for you is that it is actually introducing you into the picture. So this is what print ads can't do. You can write a great story in a print ad, don't get me wrong, and you can definitely generate engagement with it. But for someone to get to know and like you on a personal level, they need to see you. Just like when Naira sees, a handsome actor on TV, or when you see your favorite author comes out with another book, or the person that the TV channel or the news channel that you go to most often for your information. So that is what you want to create. So converting is the message, book, or refer, right? So think about this. A follower, we want to move them from point A to point B. A follower likes your market minute video, right? We did. So you do those once a month, or you've done them every week. And if you haven't seen that, how to make a market minute video, there is a previous training I've done. You can find it on our YouTube channel, which is which we talk about in the sales meeting. So they comment on a pricing tip, they reply to your story, and then they schedule a sales call. So according to Sprout Social Index of 2024, 78% of consumers say they are more likely to buy from brands they've interacted with on social media. 78% say they are more likely to buy from brands they've interacted with on social media. So what is your brand? What is your brand?
Are you asking us?
Yes, I'm asking you. What is your brand?
Expertise.
Okay. Anybody else have any ideas? What is your brand?
I think I would be more water related stuff.
Okay.
Whether it's navigation to and from a property or just local life on the water, crabbing, diving, fishing, stuff like that.
Okay. That's your target market, right, Annalise? That would be your ideal target client, would you say?
Yes.
Okay. What else is your brand? You are your brand. You are the brand. There you go. Tony, very good answer. We are the brand, right? You are the brand. Coldwell Banker Schmidt Real Estate is the brand that you're under, but you are the brand in your local market. So it's not something. The only way for people to get to know your brand is by interacting with them, right? Engagement isn't vanity; it's the start of your pipeline. And I'm going to hope that you get the connection here. So, like I said, conversation is the new conversion. Comments and DMs are the new open house signs, right? Most agents chase leads, top agents start conversations. Social media messages are today's pre-appointment dialogue. So how many of you have noticed lawyer billboards on the roads? How many of you seen a lawyer billboard? Hey, you had an accident?
A zillion of them.
Right? Okay. And then you see the ads on TV, right? And I'm going to talk about ads for drugs on TV. What do? They attack your pain point, right? They go after your pain point and then tell you, I have the solution. And the ones that we see the most often, the ones that we see on a regular basis, are the ones that are the most successful. How many of you know Morgan & Morgan?
Everyone
Everybody?
does.
Yeah,
Right?
they're biggie, sure.
Why?
Ads.
Ads, right? Television, print,
They're everywhere.
billboards. Exactly. They're everywhere, right? So everybody knows Morgan & Morgan. They are the biggest, most successful law firm in the country for, what do they call it? Casualty law, right? They're the biggest, most successful company for casualty law because of repetition, repetition, repetition. But it's not just repetition of the ads. Who's in the ads and commercials and billboards for Morgan and Morgan?
Morgan and Morgan.
Jim Morgan, right? He's the guy that owns the company. So this was something that started to shift late in the 80s, where you saw that the actual founder or the CEO or the spokesperson for the company was actually somebody from the company, right? It wasn't about using actors. It was from the company. They were making a connection on a personal basis, right? So make sure that when someone does message you or reaches out to you, reply back to them. Go back and connect with them. Hey, thanks for the comment. I'm curious. Are you following the Keys market right now or just browsing? Hey, Naira, glad you liked my post on pricing. You want me to send you the full checklist? Or, hey, Josh, thanks for checking out the virtual open house. Would you like a short list of all the homes for sale in this neighborhood? Right? So when you do an open house and you post an open house on social media, give them a reason to come, not just to see the house, but hey, come on down, check out the open house. I have a full array of information for you. So I have a list of all the homes that are for sale in the area, in the neighborhood. I've got some mortgage information for you. I've got some information if you're interested in what's going on around town and things that are the best restaurants to go to. I've got that here for you. Come on down. I want to share some information, and while you're here, you can have a cupcake, right? Something along those lines. Give them a reason. Be a person, right? Don't just, hey, come see my house and buy it, right? Come see my house. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation while you're here at the open house. And here I'm providing you value while you're here. So Meta, right? Meta is Facebook. Agents using conversational DM strategies convert leads at 2.5 times higher rates than those relying on ad clicks alone. So real estate agents that post ads that actually use conversational direct messaging will see 2.5 times higher rates than those just running the ad alone. That includes when you boost a post, by the way. Okay, so treat comments as leads. They're not likes. Okay, creating micro offers and not mega pitches. Micro offers are something specific to that person that would help give them some value and something that would provide them with a connection to you. So instead of asking someone to list their home, invite them to take one step toward working with you, right? Micro offers are safe, they're valuable, they're personalized. So if you want to get the latest Keys market report, it's wild, okay? Do you want a copy? And I would make that specific to my target market. So if I was going to do one, I would either do Big Pine Key, or I would talk about a neighborhood within Big Pine Key, right? Or Key West. So if you want the latest Old Town market report, you won't believe it, it's wild. Want a copy? Here, let me know. DM me timing. I'll tell you the best 2 months to sell here in the Keys. That might be, what does he mean? What do they mean by the best 2 months? What's wrong with the other 10, right? That creates a curiosity, but it's a small step. Want my seller prep checklist, comment checklist, but make it specific to your area. Here are the things that, I would do a post like, here are very common things that may turn buyers away from your home if you own a home or you're trying to sell a home in Pine Channel Estates. And, and go through a couple of things that talk about the curb appeal, or, here's some things that you might be able to do to help make that happen. I actually made a seller prep checklist specific for homes in Pine Channel Estates. And if you are interested in, just comment checklist and I'll send it to you in the comment section below. Okay. Behavioral psychology research. So this is back from 2009, but it shows smaller, low friction actions lead to significantly higher long-term conversion rates. So if you've done business with somebody before, right, and they talk to their friend about you because their friend mentioned about selling their house, and they have that conversation a couple of times, and the friend maybe reaches out to you, or you reach out to them because your previous client said, hey, my friend Joe is thinking about listing their house, and you have a couple of conversations with them. Is it easier to get a listing from a referral or from a for sale by owner? Anybody?
Referral.
Right? J.G. Wentworth. Yeah. Referral. It's always easier to get a referral, right? Isn't it easier to get them to sign than trying to make a cold call?
Of course, yes.
Okay. So we want to make sure that we create that low friction action. And you can do that by using social media. You can't do that in an ad in a newspaper. Not that I'm saying don't get me wrong. We want each of these steps to help support the other. So again, just like Morgan and Morgan or J.G. Wentworth. Now that Chrissy said that, that song is going in my head and I can't get it out. So thanks, Chrissy. But if I put out the social media. I'm doing the postcard thing. I'm sending a newsletter. I've got the newspaper ad. I'm making calls. Now, each one of those steps have made it easier for me to have conversations with people in those neighborhoods, right? Because the more they get to know me, the easier it will be, the more familiar I will be to those people. So don't sell. Solve small problems first. Okay, so choose a recent post. If you have your Facebook open, go ahead and do that, or whatever, or Instagram. Okay, and we're not gonna do the whole thing right now because we're gonna run tight on time. But choose a recent post. Pick one post that maybe got likes or comments, but no leads. Right? One post that got likes or comments, but no leads yet. Okay? I want you to map the ladder, meaning what made people stop? Why do you think people stopped and looked at that? So you're going to have to look at those comments. Were they comments or likes from people that actually outside of our industry, or were they from other real estate agents? Because if all my comments and likes and shares and everything are from, or well, not shares, but if all my comments and likes are just from other real estate agents, maybe I'm targeting the wrong audience. Maybe I need to change my message. Because here's what's going to happen. When that happens, then Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever you're using, all right, is going to keep pushing that content out to other real estate agents. Not to a potential seller, not to a potential buyer. I hope you all understand that. Okay, so when you get a bunch of likes and comments, and they're all from other real estate agents, it's just going to keep pushing it to real estate agents. So I want to know what made people stop. Just, one or two words, a single sentence. Follow-up action. What could you change? What could you offer with that post that may have changed the engagement on it? Okay, write a one-line response to that engagement, right, to that offer. So if somebody says, yeah, I'll give me that, or says checklist, or send me a evaluation, what would be your one-line response? And then do a calendar invite call or follow-up. So before you do that though, send me the first three and I'll help you tweak those to make them even better. Okay? So answer these questions. What's one new call to action or invitation or follow-up that you'll try this week? And how will you track who engaged? How will you track who engaged? And I'm going to show you the numbers that actually matter. That actually matter when you're doing social media. It's not about clicks and views. That doesn't mean anything if they don't convert. Okay? You need to be consistent, right? You don't need to post more. You need to be predictable. You need to show, this is what we're going to talk about, building that little system real quick, right? So just as an example, Agent A posts 3 times a week for 6 months, adds 1 listing and 3 referrals. That's an actual result, okay? Agent B posts 10 times in 1 month, gains followers, but gets no leads. So if you look at it from that, the more you are predictable and consistent, the more you are likely to get business. If you just go in and throw a bunch of stuff up and then don't do anything after that, right? Just, oh, I threw up 10 videos, man, or I put up 10 posts, nobody said anything, nobody did anything. Yeah, okay. I had this situation with an agent that I worked with at another company, right? So you put up one post and go, oh, okay, and then not put up another one for 2 weeks, or you put up one, and then, oh, look, I did 3 in a row. That's not going to help you. Okay, you're not going to get the results that you want. You need to be consistent and predictable, because then the algorithm will reward you, along with, oh, I know Naira's going to post that market minute, right? Every Tuesday, the first Tuesday of every month, she does that market minute, or on the 3rd of every month, she posts that market minute. Let me go check it out, right? Reliability is key. So account posting consistently for 90 days on average will create in a plus 60% higher engagement and 3 times more inbound messages than inconsistent ones. So again, it's not about how much you post, it's about how consistent you are. Consistency is key. So building your system. So here, we're going to talk about building your system. I'm going to show you what the best thing to do is, without overwhelming yourself, is to use theme days to remove decision fatigue, right? Just plan once, create in one batch, and then schedule ahead. So pick a day of the week that you can take an hour or so to just do content, right? Just do videos or your photos or whatever, or come up with your ideas. And here's a simple, easy one to do, schedule to do. You can do a market minute and just kind of talk about the neighborhood. Make it specific. Please don't be general. Please don't talk about all of the Florida Keys. Talk about your target market, your neighborhoods that you want to work in, the areas that you want to get listings in. Talk about that. Talk about client story, something that shows social proof. Talk about a local highlight, maybe some of best sunset spots in Marathon. Give a tip or an insight, and then an engagement question. Would you move if mortgage rates hit 5%? Would you consider selling if mortgage rates hit 5%? Or you could ask, what would the mortgage rate have to be for you to sell this house and buy another one? How many of you have asked that question? So, and I'm not telling all of you to use the same exact things I have here. Come up with your own stuff, okay? If you all put in the same thing, it's not gonna work, okay? You got to use your own ideas, but you can use scheduling tools. So what you do is you take all of your stuff and you do it within an hour, or pick one day and do it all, what's called batch creation, right? So I want to take all of my video or my photos or whatever it is, and I'm building everything in 1 or 2 hours on one day a week. And then I use a scheduler, and the scheduler is going to help you. Here are some schedulers that you can look at. A lot of these are free to start. Oh, wrong page. Okay. So one of them would be Metricool. And if you look at Metricool, this is a social media management platform. You can use this, and they do have a free option. I'm sorry. This is a trial version. Oh yeah, free. No, they do have the free option, right? So you could do one brand, which is you. Okay, free option for social media content planning. You can use Canva. If you have Canva, you can use Content Planner. A Content Planner will help you organize your ideas. You can schedule posts, add it into your calendar, and then you can have it automatically uploaded to your channel. You can use Later. Later is another one. I think Later is the one that doesn't have Later doesn't have a free option. They have a trial option. But Later is a complete social media manager as well. You can put all your stuff in here and it will automatically post it for you. So, but if you go down, I think it's toward the bottom. No, yeah. So Later has a free trial period, but they don't have a free account use. So that's something that you would have to pay for. But it does help manage your social media for you, so you don't have to think about it. So what you're doing is you're posting all of your stuff in there at one time, and then Later or the Content Planner or Metricool will help post that for you. There is another option which you can get for free, okay, and that is in Client Bay, right? So if you go into Client Bay, you can use Social Bay to post your content for you as well. You just have to put it into, you have to schedule it into Social Bay. So through the content calendar. So you can add stuff here for your own content and use this as a social media calendar if you'd like. If you need help with that, ask me. I'm happy to help you. Okay? All right. So leverage and automation. Some things that can help you is obviously you can use ChatGPT or Google Gemini has been very good lately and is improving with their large language model. I'm learning more and more about it as I haven't used it very much, but I'm getting great results with it, and I'll let you know how that goes. So you can use Client Bay back at you to automate lead nurturing sequences by using the automated features within Client Bay. So you can create campaigns. Again, if you need help with that, you let me know. If you look down here, you'll see some new tabs, and one is automated follow-up, and you can create action plans for that to make sure that you can follow up on your stuff and get that done. And then you can also look at Canva Magic Studio, that's basically Canva, the magic use when you create something new. You can use AI generation to do that. And then you can also look at Opus Clip. Opus Clip will help you create and break up your content so that you can put together content for different platforms if you want to run different platforms. So it'll take one mode of content. So let's say you do a widescreen video for Facebook or YouTube, and then you can put it into Opus Clip to convert it and make it work for Instagram or TikTok or something. And there is a free account that you can use through Opus Clip. And it'll also create the captions for you and everything. So you can add music to it or whatever. So you can use this. You can start with these to get used to them. Another one is that you can use to schedule or keep your day flowing is Trello. I use Trello for certain things to get to put together things for and keep them together. The great thing about Trello is you can connect different apps and different platforms together into one calendar. And then for those of you that are not familiar or already use it, Notion. Notion can create interactive interactive tasks for you that you can put together. And this also does have a free version with it, so you can get the trial there. So this is free for individual usage. And you can create forms, you can you can use the calendar, you can sync with your Gmail account, and you can also help create tasks through Notion. If you're not used to it, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help you out with that. Okay? All right, so going back to our momentum machine, we want to create a personalized weekly posting plan. We want to automate workflow. You want to plan your week, add in the automation that works for you. Some of those are, they overlap, but use what is easy for you to use. Define your 90-day goal. I want to post 3 times a week for 90 days, or I'm going to post once a week for 90 days. And then review your results. Okay. So when we review, I want to talk about that real quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up here, folks. So what are the metrics that actually matter when you're doing social media stuff? These are the metrics that matter. The engagement rate. That means are posts resonating, right? Are people clicking on it and commenting? Are they sending you a DM? Are they interested in what you have to say, right? Saves and shares. This provides value and relevance. When someone saves something, that means that they are interested in what you have to say and they want to be able to go back to it. If they share it, they think that that information is important enough that other people they know should be interested in that information as well. So saves and shares. Comments and direct messages. These are conversations, and this is the ultimate goal, is to get connected with those people on a personal level. And then leads from social. How many leads did it actually produce? These are the ones that are important. Clicks, likes, views don't mean anything, folks. They literally don't, okay? Unless you're trying to be an influencer and gain ad share, or ad revenue, then it matters. Views matter. But for what we do, that has nothing to do with what we do for business, all right? In real estate, it's all about engagement and how many people resonate with our message. That is the key. So you can review that once a month, these 4 things, and just make some minor tweaks if you need help with that. Again, I'm here to help you. And then do a major momentum change once every quarter. And you can reach out to me and I can help you with that as well. Let's see what else, what other comments do we have? Do these services affect the performance of our posts? So you feel like, yes. So Alicia, I'll answer that question. The automated posts that are generic, that are not providing any specific or hyper local content, will not perform as well. And I'm going to tell you why and give an easy answer. That same content is being repeated by multiple agents over multiple market areas, multiple times. So the algorithm doesn't favor when something is posted as content on your page and it's posted by the same person, or the same content is posted by multiple people. The more the identical thing is posted, the more it will fall from grace, okay?
So why do
Shares
we
are
do it?
different. I'm sorry?
So why do we do it?
It keeps your page active, and if you've worked with me, you know that I have often said that you should go into your social bay every month, look at the posts that are there, and then decide which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to add, which ones do I need to alter, right? So if there's a post in Social Bay that is not specific to our area, which we know happens, right? You don't want a post going out that has a picture of a house, a cabin in the woods, right? That in the mountains. That's not going to help us, right? So if I look at this, sorry, gardening tips: lavender, daylilies, or hostas. If you planted any of those here, okay, the deer would be grabbing them so fast, okay, that you would have wasted, several $100s. So that's not relevant to our area. So what you need to do is you need to go in and modify it to make it relevant to your market area. So the tip itself is not bad. Well-maintained landscaping can increase home value by up to 15%. Curb appeal, right? It's this information in between that doesn't work for us. So I need to change this to make it, what plants could I put in front of my house that the deer won't eat? Right? How can I make my curb appeal look better for, that the deer won't destroy it? So that's how you need to go in here and look. There's a lot of great ideas that you can get from this content, but you need to go in and manage it. You
I
can't
didn't
just,
realize we could alter what's already in there.
yeah, I've done trainings on that, and I can do another one if you like. Okay. Um, how do you track the performance of the batch posts? When you say when you put them, so Chrissy, I'm assuming that you mean when if you use one of these platforms, how do I track it? Is that what you're saying? Is Chrissy still here? She is, but she,
Yes and yes. No, I'm here.
okay.
And yes, that's what I mean.
Okay, so each one of these platforms, Metricool, Later, they have tracking analytics in them, okay, that you can use. So that's how you would track that. By the way, does any there's my information if you want. Any of this sound familiar, by the way? Outside of social media? Does any of this sound familiar? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before, right?
Yep, because this applies to everything you do. It applies to whether you're doing postcards, it applies whether you're doing ads, it applies whether you're doing phone calls, okay? Do I have a better chance of having my phone call go when I'm prospecting? Do I have a better chance of having my phone call go better if I can connect with that person in the first 30 seconds,
Absolutely.
right? On a personal level. Yes? Okay. So I got to find out, hey, I'm calling expired listings. I'm calling them up and say, hey, Mr. Jones, my name is Frank Vernon with Coldwell Banker Schmidt. I know you've been called by 1,000 agents already. I'm already going to address that right up front. Okay? And I promise I am not here to waste your time. But are you still thinking about, if you're still thinking about selling your home, could I ask you one question? And I'm asking permission. Right? I've already addressed the problem. He already knows, or the person answering that phone has already had multiple phone calls. But if I come across just that little bit different and address their problem, their issue, I may have a better response, right? Or I say, Mr. Jones, if what I say in the next 30 seconds doesn't connect with you or doesn't provide any value, just go ahead and hang up. Is that fair enough? Okay. So I'm releasing them. I'm giving them the control. And by doing that, I give them, they feel more comfortable to talk with me. So if I can connect with them on that level. When I just as a quick example, when I used to do this manually and I had my first farm area back in the day, I had a catalog of every house on every street and all the notes that I would put with it, so that if I did speak with someone in that neighborhood, I could go right to that house and say, "Oh yeah, Mr. Jones, you got the house with the little gnome guy over by the door, right? Yeah, I know which house you're talking about." It already said to them, he already knows me, right? They already know me. Or yeah, you got the house with the blue shingle roof, right? Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, you have the house with the you're over there on the corner lot, right, with the pool? Yes. Okay, fantastic. I know which house you're talking about, right? So Mr. Jones knew that I knew who he was, right? He knew that I knew the neighborhood. Oh, you live across the street from the park. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, oh, great. I know the kids love it over there. I see them there all the time. So that helps, right? It helps break down that barrier. Anybody have any questions? Other questions? Guys, I'm sorry I went a little bit over. It's hard to get all this content to you in the time allotted, but I do my best to try and give it to you.
Definitely good stuff.
All right. So we will send you out the recording when it is available. The slide deck will be is already in Bay, I believe. Ruth is, as I sent it to Ruth earlier. So that should already be in Bay.
No, not yet, Frank. Later today.
Okay, later today it'll be in Bay.
Hmm.
And when it goes out, we'll also send an attachment with that as well. All right, and last, you're welcome, Anthony. Great, thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you, everybody.
Good job, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Have a great day. Go
Bye.
out there and win the day.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Bye, guys.